Hello, MESA members, and welcome to the MESA Learning Space Facilitators Training on Discord. My name is Rocco, and I'm a computer engineering student and an admin for several servers. I've made servers for all my classes, both in the fall and this semester, and I also founded a coding group called Coffee and Code, and I found that Discord is a really good medium to have a really good collaborative experience so that even though we may be in isolation, we're not alone, and we can still work together in positive ways and help each other out with our studies. So as an overview, we'll be going over what is Discord, how to get started with it, just really the basics of the overall layout. So if you have no experience with Discord, we can go over all those basics, as well as a tour of our server specifically and the layout and flow of it. We'll also go over your role as a tutor and how that will work. We'll have a live demo, which will take up most of the time to really just dive into how all the menus work, where all the buttons are, things like that. Another key point when working with Discord is, or any online medium that's collaborative in an academic environment, is of course how do we as tutors combat cheating and roles that we all share in order to administer this server to make it a good environment for everyone to learn, feel comfortable, and uphold our academic honesty. I'll be taking questions at certain segments throughout the presentation, but we will have a Q&A at the very end. So what is Discord? In a nutshell, it's really just a general use platform. It has different chat rooms. You can do voice conferencing. And what I love about Discord is that compared to a basic Zoom account, with a basic Zoom account, you only have an hour for meetings. And after that, it kicks you out. With Discord, there's no time limit. There's also no user limit. So if you wanted to, you could stream a video with an unlimited number of users. And that's really why I was really drawn to Discord, just for its functionality to get past that 1 hour limit. So in order to get involved with Discord, you'll just simply create an account and feel free to use any kind of username that you feel comfortable with. So that way you can remain anonymous if you were to use this Discord handle elsewhere. You can make your username anything you so choose, but what's great about Discord is that per each server, you can appear with your name, and we'll go over how to change your nickname so that way you can be recognizable to others in our MESA server, but still anonymous to public servers on the rest of the internet. So here is our server, and just a general overview on the left-hand side, that's where you see the different categories. That's MESA, course help, peer tutoring, and we'll also go over a specific section just for admins and tutors as well. But beneath each of those categories are channels. So we see welcome, general, resources. All of those are text channels if they have a hash in front of them. But the ones that are video and audio channels have a little speaker icon in front of them. And that's where you'll actually do video sharing, similar to how we do on Zoom. The center of the screen, that's where you have just the general text and the feed for that channel. And then on the right-hand side, that's where you have all the user information. So right now, this server is basically empty, and it's just myself in here. But I'll show you what that will kind of look like once the server starts to get populated. So under each of these categories, we have MESA, course help, and peer tutoring. For the MESA stuff, it's really just general discussion, there's some off-topic stuff, and resources. There's course help where you can have general discussion, and then there's peer tutoring. So those are like really the main three branches of the categories for our server. So specifically looking at the welcome screen, this is a screen that everyone, once they join the server, they're going to be put into this room just to kind of get a general feel for how the flow kind of works. It'd be similar to where if you went to our math lab on campus, you would have an established kind of set of norms to where you write your name on the board and then you sit down and you get help. In this way, we establish that, if in this yellow text here, that's exactly what's in the welcome section. And there it says, if you're looking for help, go to the waiting room, post your question. After that, a tutor will contact you and let you know what other channel to go into, so that way they can get help. There's also a resources area where we can post things for job opportunities, scholarship, food distribution. I have posted some mental health resources as well as free things you can get as a computer scientist on GitHub as a student that could be helpful. So just anything that could be helpful to students in general, we're going to post that in resources. Also, to solicit feedback from the MESA community, we have a server suggestion channel. So that way, if anyone has a recommendation that they'd like to see in the server, they can speak that out in that channel. And as a catch-all, there's just an off-topic for just one-off questions as they arise. Now for course help, this section is really for that collaboration between students. It's for people who are maybe in 1B and they just have a general question about different techniques of integration, or perhaps you found a really cool modeling tool for your physics course and you want to just share that. This is also a good place to talk about, hey, I'm taking Math 1C next semester. These are the 3 teachers. Anyone have any recommendations? How did you like Gail Bach or Jeff Clark? So that's kind of just the, in general, where the students and the tutors can all just really collaboratively help each other in their own fields of study. Now, here is peer tutoring. This is really the heart of our server. And once we have availability times from each of the trainers, we'll have those posted in here. So that way students can see who's available when and for what topics. And the general way it'll go is the student will post a question with their subject, and then the question being either written text like I have here, what is ddx of 1 over x? Or maybe they'll post a picture from their book. And then when it's your availability time for that subject, or if you feel comfortable, and you've gone over that class and you've taken that subject, you can then go into this chat room for questions for tutors and say, user, move into the Marie Curie room or the Katherine Johnson room. And from there, you'll actually go into the one-on-one time, showing your video, having a conversation, and going over the ins and outs of the problem. So once you join one of the audio rooms, this is what it'll look like on your end. You have the option to share your screen and go live, which is very similar to how you have the Zoom functionality, very similar in Discord as well. And then this also allows for the student to share their screen. What's also great about Discord is that you can both share your screens at the same time, and you can have kind of a gallery view, which is pretty helpful. So that way you're not switching back and forth, which can be a little frustrating with Zoom. And it's just really great. There's no time limit. You can share your whole screen or just specific screens, and I'll show you that in the demo as well. One other thing to note is that with Discord, there is an option to give people different roles. So as you can see on this one, I'm the admin. I also have a tutor role, and then I have each subject that I've taken denoted under my roles. Now, some roles allow for elevated privileges. For example, I'm an admin, so I can add categories, delete channels, change our region to Germany if I wanted to, the biggest privileges. And then there's another level to that, just one step down, which is the tutors. You will gain elevated privileges to be able to have certain administrative rights. You'll see certain things that other typical users will not. And it'll just help you with sorting through the server. As far as the Math 1A, 1B, and those sorts of things, those are just tagged roles that authorize no additional privileges, but are just useful to denote. If you were to see a tutor in the user area, you could click on their name and you'd see all these different tags. You could see that, oh, this person took CS10A. I could probably send them a message and be like, hey, can you help me out with for loops or something like that? So that's really the layout of the roles. Now, before I go into the demo, does anybody have any questions? All right, super. So I'm gonna do a new share and bring up our Discord server. Excuse me. So this is our server. And up in the top left here, if you would like to invite people to the server, which is a core function to it, you simply just do create invite. Pretty straightforward there. What'll happen is you'll get this window that will pop up. If you have friends on Discord, their names will populate here. But if you want to just create a general invite, I'd recommend doing the edit invite link. And you can set this invite to expire after a certain amount of time. I typically just set it to never. You can also have it expire after a certain number of uses. I'll do no limit. And you just generate a new link, copy it there. Send this off to the MESA members. We'll get this dispersed to everybody so that way they can come on into the server. Now, one great thing about Discord is that you can pin certain comments. So for example, I'm going to go into questions for tutors. Now, this is a message that will remain throughout the life of this channel, and this will all eventually get thrown up to the top of the feed, so it won't be visible anymore. But for anyone who wants to know kind of what's going on in this channel, you can go to pinned messages, and you'll see that I have it right there, ask the questions in the following format. And then for you as tutors, you'll be able to pin messages by simply going to the more icon. And in this case, it'll unpin it. But if it wasn't pinned, you would have the option to do so right there. This would be good for things like schedules or just really pertinent information to that chat. So once you are all let in to the server as tutors, I will then grant you special permissions, and I'm going to actually look at the server through your eyes. I'm going to go to server settings, roles. These are all the different roles that we have. I'm going to go to tutor and then view server as role. So now this is exactly what you're going to see. We have the MESA, course help, peer tutoring, as well as a rules posting for the server. And then this little category down here, well, that's only for us. That's just for moderators, admins, and tutors, just to send messages to each other about whatever housekeeping things that we need to get sorted out. Perhaps you need an elevated permission to do something that was unforeseen to myself. We can hash that out in those chat rooms. This won't be visible to your average user. So one thing you'll be able to do with your permissions as a tutor is you'll be able to go over to your name, right click, and then you'll have this roles drop down. So this is where one of the first things I'll have everyone do is go in and just click all the different classes that you've gone through, and then everyone, no matter what, will have a MESA member role as well. Another thing you can do in the server is change your nickname. So if I wanted to appear as something else, I could do Rocco, he, him, and change your settings to whatever you're comfortable with your nickname. And now that's how I will appear only in this server. For example, if I go to my Physics 40 server, I appear as Rocco Lab 2, because that's just pertinent to this server. So in order for us to actually share our screens, the general flow is go into questions for tutors, tell somebody meet in the Marie, that will not work, Marie Curie room. Once you'll pop in there, you'll see the little drop down just populated. And then once the other user joins in, their name will be right below yours. And this little green icon just indicates that I'm talking right now. And then you can mute yourself. Deafen just means you can't hear anything, and you'll see little icons that corroborate with that. So I'm going to unmute and then share my screen. And just like you have for Zoom, you have the option to share your entire screen or share just a specific application. So I'm going to just share questions for tutors. You can name your stream something specific. I just like to keep it whatever was populated in here at the settings that it prescribes. And then I hit go live. So from there, you'll see that in the top right, that's what you're actually streaming. On the user end, they'll see that I have a live icon, and then they'll see a button that says that they can watch my stream. And from there, you can both collaborate, talk, and go over things. Excuse me. If there were several users in here, you could do a gallery view where it would look like a grid, and you can see each other's screens and work collaboratively like that. So I'm going to disconnect. So stop my stream, and I'm out of the room. So just as a general overview of what users will see, I'm going to go back to role settings. With this server, it's set up as a community. It's not just your average server. This allows us to have more privileges as admins and control over the server. And a key part of that is member screening. So if I were to preview this, this is what every user is going to see when they come onto the server. So they're going to have to verify their email to make sure they're definitely human. And then they're going to have to go through this list of rules. And then they'll have to agree to this before they can participate in any of the chats. And so this is here for obvious reasons that we want to make this a good collaborative space where everyone is welcome and where we have academic honesty and that just we can really work together as professionals. Being part of the MESA organization, the connections that we make here, this is our professional network, similar to how the conduct in this server will be to perhaps the conduct that you would carry out maybe on LinkedIn or something like that in a professional setting. I wouldn't think that this is really the place to share a bunch of memes or things like that. If you want to start up your own server to branch off and you want to talk about video games or things of that nature and sort, feel free, but definitely trying to keep this professional collaborative space that's inclusive for everybody, for all fields of study. And part of that is by having the rules. After they see the rules, they'll be dropped into this welcome screen. And here we have just a general tour that every user will see right when they log in. That'll say how to get help by posting questions with tutors, how to find and post helpful info for all students. That's the resources room. And then if they wanted to make server suggestions, they can do that there. And if they don't jump into one of these rooms immediately, they'll just have a look around. and then they're in the server at large. Last thing to go over for our demo is how to do kicks and bans. So I'm going to go back to server settings, roles, as a tutor. So I'm now viewing the server through your eyes. I have a user, Arcinto. He looks suspect. And you have options here for several things. You can send them a message. You can control their volume if you're in a chat with them and they're really loud. You also have authorization to mute them. You can disable their video if they're sharing something inappropriate. You can change their nickname. And that isn't how the nickname will appear to just you. That's how their nickname is going to be across this local server. If you so choose, you could invite them to different servers. I got a bunch of other ones. Like, hey, I'm also in your physics, you're in my physics class. Maybe you want to join my server. This person is my friend, and I could remove them here or block them. And then these are the ones, the really big permissions that you have to whether you can kick them or ban them. Ban is to where they can never rejoin the server again, unless I went into the settings and explicitly said this person can rejoin. And there's ban. Excuse me, there's kick, to where that just removes them temporarily. What's nice about kick is that a message will pop up. And then you can let them know what they did and how they could perhaps get into the server. Email me. And then you can have them send a letter kind of like explaining what happened perhaps. We can deal with that on a case-by-case basis. But in the rules, it says that tutors and admins reserve the right to kick anybody for any reason. So if you feel that this person isn't upholding that kind of professional environment, or they're not being inclusive and promoting equity for all their students, feel free to just kick them at your discretion. And then just send me a message and we can deal with things on a case-by-case basis. I don't foresee that happening, but in my physics class, our teacher mentioned that some of the tutors were running into issues with students just being kind of irate and a little mean, and just stressful times, and we're all trying to help each other out. And I hope to never use those buttons, but they are there. And if you do need help, or if you run into issues, please use those chat rooms, the moderators only, and the admins and tutors, and we'll handle things on a case-by-case basis. And then, like I said before, you can modify a person's roles, not just for yourself, but for anybody in the server. So if you could all do me a favor, I did set up a bot, Dino bot right there, to make sure that everybody got the MESA member role when they join the server. I'm not 100% sure that's totally working. So if you could help me out by anyone who's in the server and their name isn't cyan, like this, that aqua color, just go ahead and slap that MESA member role on there so they can participate in the server at large. And that is the end of the demo. Does anybody have any questions about Discord? Feel free to post them in the chat or raise your hand and I can unmute you. All right then. So like I said before, it's going to be our responsibility to monitor cheating and make sure that everyone's upholding our academic honesty standards. In the world we live in now, everyone's in front of their screens and machines, and there's temptation to use things like Chegg and Slater. It's rising up more than ever. There was a West Point scandal, I think, where 60 students were cheating on calculus tests, and it's been just rampant throughout the nation. Stressful times. Our academics mean a lot to us to get to that next step in our life, to transfer successfully and be successful in our professional careers. And to be honest, if you're using things like Slader and Chegg, or God forbid you try to solve a problem and you don't know the answer within 10 seconds, that's okay and that's normal. And it really helps our brains to really chew on a problem. That's why I liked programming so much, because I'll be working on a problem for a couple of hours, and as I step away, my brain's still working on it. That's why I think it's such a good idea to, right when you get your homework assignment, don't put off even looking at it until the night before. Look at it right when you get it assigned. So that way you can really, your brain will just start working in the background to help you out and be successful. And once we go into our professional careers, IEEE standards, you can't just copy paste certain things for your professional work. So just be cognizant that those things like Chegg and Slater, it's really only gonna harm you, even though you might get through the course. But our responsibilities for the course will be to definitely look out for when people are posting questions while they're taking an exam. Now, a way to combat this is to, when someone posts a question in the chat, you ask them, hey, can we pop into a Zoom? And odds are they won't be able to pop into, our Discord rather, while they're in a Zoom session. A lot of the teachers now, they're having the screens on the students, and if they're seen talking to their screen while they're muted in their Zoom, while you're talking to them on Discord, that's going to be a red flag for the teacher, and they can handle it on their end. Another thing that we don't want to do is provide questions and answers for people who are doing makeup exams, doing test question review to try and get points back, or anything that's really quizzes and tests. So those are really the big no-nos of things we can't help with. Things that are good are going to be homework, and things that just normally would be collaborative. I think the rule of thumb is if you were able to work on it in the library with your friends during a normal semester, then it's probably safe to talk about on Discord. And then if anything happens with academic dishonesty, please just let us know in the admins and chats. So yeah, if there's anything in here, like you had to kick somebody, you would like to ban somebody for a reason, or if just trouble arises in general, don't be shy to use those chats. So that wraps up the Discord training, and I just really appreciate all of your time. All of you are here to try and help out the MESA community at large with your knowledge and to promote unity within our organization. And I just really appreciate you all being here, and stop the recording so you can reference this later if you so choose. And I just really thank you for all your time.